Hello, and welcome to this masterclass on what are you driven by? We are going to touch on ways to create a fulfilling life in alignment with your purpose. I'm your host, Deandra Filicetti, and I am here to take you on a journey to help you discover something inside of you that you might not have known was there. But first things first, this masterclass is for people who want to live a fulfilling life. People who want to discover their purpose, people who want to grow, those in search of a deep level of motivation and drive, people who want to achieve their potential, and those who are ready to make changes and make an impact. If that sounds like you, then you're in the right place. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought to yourself that there should be more to life than what you're doing right now? Like you're not quite in the right place. Like you're meant to be doing more. Well, I want to tell you something. At least 264 million people worldwide live with depression. And I'm not saying you're depressed, but what I'm saying is there is a big problem. That's enough people to fill Rogers Center Stadium almost 5,000 times. And that number is rising. But also, now more than ever, we have the technology to learn new skills, to start businesses, to find hobbies, and to connect with other people. And we so desperately need to take advantage of these tools and tackle these problems. Okay, so this was me over 7 years ago when I felt hopeless. No, I wasn't asleep here, but we were in the middle of an apple picking trip on a Sunday, and I got the Sunday scaries. I was dreading Monday, and I just wanted to enjoy the day without all that tightness in my chest as my anxiety grew the closer we got to Monday. I'm telling you, life wasn't going as planned for me. And growing up, everyone tells you that if you work hard in school, get good grades, that you'll be successful. But my goodness, there's so much more to it, isn't there? When I was ready to start my career, I got hired right away by a billion-dollar corporation. And I thought, I did it. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Finished school, got a secure job at a big company. I was ready to do all the things that I was supposed to do. But why wasn't I happy? Why did I feel like this was not where I was meant to be? I felt like I had so much more to offer, but I didn't know what I needed to do next. I felt lost and alone, and honestly, I felt like I was sold a dream. And every Sunday, I got the Sunday scaries, dreading Monday. So I had to figure out what I needed to do next in order to change the course of my life. And let me tell you, that moment was a turning point. I decided that I wasn't going to settle and let my passion die a slow death. Instead, I was going to do something that I enjoyed, that I was passionate about, and that I valued. I wanted to help people in my exact situation. But I didn't really know what it was going to take. But what I did know was the message, the why. It was all about helping people determine what they are driven by so that they wouldn't end up in my miserable situation and that they could have a more fulfilling life than just getting, quote unquote, a good job and doing all the things that you're supposed to do. And you can see on the left, I started with very little confidence, but I put in the time, the work. I made mistakes, and I learned. I learned as I was figuring out how best to help other people while I was learning how to help myself. And here we are today, together. So, how did I go from the miserable Sunday scaries to being filled with excitement and motivation? Well, that's why you're here. You're here to learn the key learnings that transformed my life and things that you can implement into your life right after this masterclass. Okay, so one good thing about me is that I love a good summary. I'm not one for endless content, pages and pages of text to read through, hours and hours of lecturing. I like the Coles notes, the Spark notes, the get to the point summary to tell me what I need to know and how to put it into practice. But you see, I had to go through the 4 years of research, of studying, of listening to different experts to solve the real problem that I was having. And so I've gone through it, and now I'm giving you the summary, the key takeaways. And we don't have a lot of time in this one webinar, but I'm going to do my best to give you 3 key lessons that had the largest impact. And if you want more than that, stay to the end because I've got something for you. Okay, so you've signed up for this masterclass because you're looking to create a more fulfilling and more satisfying life for yourself. Because you want more than just the status quo. Because you want to feel motivated and reach your potential. Or because you might not be sure about what you're driven by or what your purpose is. And whatever your reason is for being here, I want you to know that I'm proud of you for taking that next step, for signing up and learning, because this is how it starts. So during this masterclass, we're going to touch on 3 key concepts that you can implement into your life today. But before we start, I want to do a quick mind frame check. It'll all make sense in just a moment. Okay, so I need you to imagine that you're at a catered event with a buffet line of food that includes your typical event staples. We've got some roast beef, some chicken that's a little on the bland side, steamed vegetables, salad, soup, and buns. And there's a bunch of people around. Like, this is a crowded event. And as you're lining up to dish out your food in the buffet, what are you thinking about? Are you watching the lineup to make sure that people don't cut in front of you? Are you commenting on the food? Thinking about better alternatives that they could have tried? Thinking things like, what, no steak? They cheaped out. Or, I could have done a way better job on this menu. Or, are you excited about the food? Thankful for the effort that went into planning it and serving it to you? I know that a lot of us are guilty of a little negativity in these situations, but this speaks heavily about your frame of mind. And the point I'm trying to make here is, are you in the right frame of mind right now? Mind frame is a mental attitude or outlook. Your frame of mind can largely be described as either positive or negative. Either you tend to identify the positive aspects of a new scenario first, or you first gravitate to the negative aspects. So, do you find yourself automatically anticipating the worst, magnifying the negative aspects and filtering out the positive aspects? Always looking to place blame, expecting everything to be perfect. And why this is important is because anytime you are exposed to a new experience or new information, you should try to put yourself in a positive frame of mind so that you get the most out of that experience. Look for the positives and what you stand to gain. And there's also a lot of benefits to a positive frame of mind. And just to name a few: stress relief, resilience, improved wellness, higher quality relationships, and more success. So right now, put yourself in a positive frame of mind and start looking forward to what you're about to learn. Okay? All right. Now you're in the right frame of mind and you're ready to get started and learn. What I want you to do is take notes. Pull out your notebook because note takers are change makers. They come back to the key takeaways that they wrote down and they implement change. And I want you to make change in your life. So if you do take notes, hold yourself accountable, share them, post them on social media, and tag us at Driven by Co, and we will reshare them. All right, let's go. I want to introduce you to the 5 P's of creating a fulfilling life. This framework is easy to remember, and it honestly seems like a simple 5-step process. But in reality, it's not that simple. In each one of these steps, in each one of the 5 P's, there's a lot involved. Now, we have a full program where we do a deep dive into each one of the 5 P's, but we don't have time for all of that right here and now. So here's the overview. Creating a fulfilling life involves taking a look at your past and how it has affected you. Taking a look at the present and your thoughts, skills, and habits now and where they're leading you. Then we want to determine your purpose, what you're driven by, so that you know the right direction for you. Then any successful venture requires a plan. So creating a plan for your life so that you can live with more intention. And finally, doing the things that create those possibilities in your future. Now, let me tell you, this is a lot, but this is the process that I went through before I summarized it into the 5 P's. So today, I want to give you some key takeaways and dive a little deeper in a few areas. Quick question, though, to put some of this into perspective for you. There was a study done where a palliative care nurse interviewed patients, who didn't have much time left to live. The palliative care nurse asked them what their biggest regret in life was. And now there were a bunch of different answers, but there was one answer that kept coming up, that was the most common. And I find it interesting because this particular regret is something that we recognize so early in life, but most people don't do anything to change it. Can you guess what it was? The number one regret of the dying was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. All of these people just wanted to live life on their terms, according to their purpose, their drive, and living up to their potential. But for some reason, they didn't. So if this is you, and you're stuck doing what society tells you that you're supposed to be doing, let's change it, one step at a time. And let's start off with your habits. Your habits are a huge opportunity to make massive changes in your life. And I'll show you why. What is one of the first things that you do before you start your day? For 9 out of 10 people, it's get a coffee or a tea because it's a habit. Habits are automatic solutions to common problems. Let me say that again. Habits are automatic solutions to common problems. For example, in the morning when you feel tired, you automatically make a cup of coffee. Now, people often underestimate the significance of our habits because we're too busy focusing on the big, defining, or breakthrough moments in life, as opposed to the habits and the patterns that led to them. Your habits can either contribute to your growth, this refers to growth habits, contribute to your decline, destructive habits, or to maintaining the status quo. Habits seem small, but the everyday small actions in our habits add up to significant changes over time. For example, eating one donut doesn't seem like a lot, but one donut every day is 365 donuts in a year. In the same way that exercising for 20 minutes in a day doesn't seem like a lot, but that's over 120 hours of exercise in a year. And that's more than going to the gym for 1 whole hour twice a week. So instead of focusing on big actions and big results, start by taking a look at building small habits that will lead to growth and lead to achievement over time. It will make things a lot easier. Trust me. Now, for those of you who are like, yeah, I get it, but like, how do I make these habits stick? You want to start with your identity. And what I mean by this is if you first identify who you want to be, you can simply focus on being that person. For example, if you want to be a healthy person, start to think of yourself as a healthy person and do the things that a healthy person does. Ask yourself, what does a healthy person do? And then make decisions and build the habits based on who you want to be. Once you know who you want to be, you can reinforce those habits with the habit process. And if you haven't heard of the habit process, it's also called the habit loop. It is the cycle in which habits are formed. It includes a cue, which is a signal that triggers a need or desire, followed by a routine, which is a set of thoughts or actions performed in response to the cue, and finally, a reward, some form of satisfaction for the routine. So for the coffee example, you wake up and you're tired. That's the cue, you feeling tired. So you drink your coffee or tea, which is the routine. And then you're rewarded with a little energy boost from the caffeine. And that reinforces the habit loop. You then repeat the habit because of that reward at the end. So if you want to build new growth habits, you have to optimize each step in the habit process and repeat it until it becomes automatic. So for the cue, you make it obvious and visible. For the routine, make it easy and enjoyable. And for the reward, make it worthwhile. So for example, if you want to eat healthier, back to the healthier you example, make the cue obvious by cutting up some vegetables and putting them in a container at the front of the fridge. Make the routine enjoyable by eating your veggies while sitting in your favorite place. And then the reward could be you feeling proud of yourself. Or maybe you reward yourself by watching your favorite show while you eat the veggies. There's lots of ways that you can optimize this process, but the power is when you repeat it enough times that you don't have to think about it. It just becomes automatic. That's the key. So I want to give you an example of building good habits and how it can impact you and how it worked for me. So I created a brand new morning routine for myself, which I call the 6-10 routine. This routine covers a lot of goals that I had for myself and that I was struggling with building. So by making it a habit, I was able to incorporate these things into my daily life more easily. So here's what I did. Basically, every morning, I do a set of 6 things for 10 counts, hence 6-10. First, I wake up and I read for 10 minutes. This helps me work on my personal development and learning goals. Then I do 3 exercises for 10 counts each. Those are usually squats, leg lifts, push-ups, or crunches, just to ensure that I'm building my strength. Then I do a plank for 6 sets of 10 seconds, so I'll count to 10 6 times, while holding the plank for my core strength. And finally, I guzzle some water for 10 seconds because I struggle with my water intake. So I found a way to build it into my routine and make it a habit so that I can start the day hydrated. And also, the idea is to wake up at 6:10 a.m. every day, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm working on it, but I'm still in the 7 o'clock range. But you catch my drift. You understand the power of making these things habits. So now when I wake up, I automatically get started on this routine. Okay, so next, I want to talk about what you are driven by. This involves figuring out what drives you at your core, what your purpose is, and what would make you feel like you've reached your potential. When we live according to what we're driven by or what our purpose is, we feel like we're doing what we're meant to do. We feel like we're using the right skills. We feel valuable. We feel challenged in the right way. And we feel satisfied. So I'm going to help you figure out what that is for you. I unofficially call this the driven by triangle. 3 different angles to take a look at what drives you. So here's where you start. You want to pay attention to your skills. What are the skills that you're naturally good at? Your talents and abilities usually indicate what you might be able to accomplish or how you can have an impact. Your interests. What captivates your mind and your thoughts? Think about things that you find yourself researching, things that you're curious about. If you were to watch a documentary on any topic, what would that topic be? And finally, your values. What do you care about most in the world? What pulls on your heartstrings? What's important to you? You really want to pay attention to the things that you value most, because spending your time engaging in and working on improving things that you value will bring many insights into your purpose and will give you that sense of satisfaction. At the core of these 3 things, there is something driving you to use your skills, use the knowledge that you've learned with your interests and curiosity to then do something that you believe is valuable. So let's get into each one. And for this next part, you're going to need a pen and paper. Let's start with your values. Do you know your values? So, if you don't know your values, why is it that every business has a set of core values and company policies to outline how they will carry out business and the expectations they strive to live up to? But it's not so common for people to know their own core values. But knowing your core values can provide a lot of clarity in the decisions you make in your life, because you get to say no to the things that don't align with your core values and yes to the things that do. So let's do it. Get your notebook and a pen or pencil, and let's write down 5 words or phrases that describe what you value. What do you value? Honesty, family, intelligence, respect, new experiences, helping others, creativity, science, kindness, discipline, freedom. What do you value in life? I'll give you a few minutes here as you come up with a list of 5 values. Now, hoping that you have your core values identified, when you find yourself having to make a decision about your future or your life, if there is a path that is leading you away from those values that you wrote down, then you'll know that that's not the path for you. This is the beauty of awareness and clarity. So next in our driven by triangle is our interests or curiosity. When we're little, I feel like we're so creative and so curious. We're interested in so many things. It's like we've got this burning desire to try things and to explore. But do you notice that as we grow, we're always told what to learn, what to do, and how to do it? And there's not much room for curiosity in that. So what happens is we start to lose touch with our natural interests and curiosities. That flame, that burning desire for curiosity dims. So did curiosity really kill the cat? I feel like curiosity makes a cat's life more exciting. Like, think about it. If you take curiosity away, what would the cat do? Sleep all day, for sure. And I know that because that's my cat right there on the screen. And he's only got 3 modes: sleep mode, eat mode, and curiosity mode. And this goes for us humans as well. Removing interest and curiosity from our lives leaves us feeling uncreative, bored, and disengaged. Curiosity and interests are so important to living a fulfilling life. Why? Curiosity makes your mind more observant to new ideas. Without curiosity or interest, we tend not to look for new ideas or new solutions. New ideas might walk right by you, but your mind is no longer wired to recognize them because you're simply not interested. When you're curious about something, your mind expects and anticipates new ideas related to it. So when those new ideas come, you're ready to spot them. Curiosity also opens up new possibilities. It takes a curious and interested mind to look beneath the surface and discover those hidden possibilities. And curiosity makes life exciting. Curiosity leads us to adventure. It activates our mind, helping us come up with more questions as we seek out new answers. And these questions lead us down exciting new paths of discovery. So, could your flame of curiosity use some more fuel? Here's what you can do. Think about things that interest you. Start asking more questions and seeking more answers about that topic. Keep an open mind. Remind yourself that you will never have all the answers, and there's always more to learn. And quit judging. We often judge things before we really get to experience them. You know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? You could be missing out on some great books or great experiences if you judge them before you even try. So, if you could send in a request for a how it's made, how to, or behind the scenes video, what would the topic be? What do you want to know more about? What are you interested in? In your notebook, can you come up with just 3 things that you'd be interested in learning more about? Go ahead and write them down. And guess what? I'm sure that there is a YouTube video for everything that you wrote down. So instead of scrolling on social media for entertainment or whatever you do, go learn and explore those interests. Okay, so the final piece of the Driven by Triangle is your skills. Figuring out what abilities you have can help you lead a fulfilling life. Now, before you say that you don't know what you're skilled at, after this masterclass, go and dig up your resume and take a look at what you wrote in the skills section. But you know what? I'm betting that that doesn't even come close to all the things that you can do. Right? We don't give ourselves enough credit for the many abilities that we do have. because we're out here selling ourselves short all the time. But the world needs your skills. You are going to make an impact. So let's figure out what you can do. In your notebook, let's take inventory of your skills. I want you to create 4 columns on your sheet of paper and label the headings beginner, average, skilled, and expert. And then you're going to write down all of the skills that you have at each level. And the reason we're doing this is because when I asked you what you're skilled at, your mind immediately goes to, what am I an expert at? And I don't want you to just focus on the skills that you're already an expert at, because all your skills count. So think hard and think about your skills in each level of mastery: beginner, average, skilled, and expert. And here are some examples to get you going: photography, video editing, social media, counseling, graphic design, mathematics, visual arts, negotiation, storytelling, communication, presentation, public speaking, leadership, problem solving, programming, planning, writing, analysis, and conflict resolution. So what can you think of for you? And once you do have a chance to identify all your skills, ask yourself, which skills in the beginner, average, or skilled category would you want to transform into expert skills in order to make you feel like you've reached your potential? The key here is that you don't have to turn every skill into an expert skill. You can just focus on the ones where you want to explore your potential and put your energy there. So make sure you take the time to complete this activity and take a full inventory of your skills. Another question for you: how many times in your life have you been asked, what do you want to be? If you could guess the number of times you've been asked that, type the number in the chat. Is it less than 5 times? 10 times? 20 times? What would you say? I've been asked that question plenty of times, and it's always what? What do you want to be? As if our identity and our worth is tied to our occupation or career or what we accomplish in life. But we are more than what we do. So as you're creating a more fulfilling life, I want you to start asking yourself, who do you want to be? Because the what is just an accomplishment. You want to be an accountant? Well, once you accomplish being an accountant, people stop asking you what you want to be. But does your life end there? No. You have so much more to offer to this world. What kind of person do you want to become? Fulfillment does not come from our job. Fulfillment comes from being the person that we want to be in our lives and in our jobs, by living according to our values, exploring our interests, and sharpening the skills that will make us feel like we're achieving our potential. Now, there's so much more I want to share with you, so I wanted to invite you to the What Are You Driven By program. This is the full program so that you can fully dive into each one of the 5 P's of creating a fulfilling life. So you can discover your purpose and come up with a practical plan to create the best version of you. So what do you get in the program? I'm going to show you what it takes to create a more fulfilling life, how to make motivation work for you, how to expand your mindset, a structure for building habits that contribute to growth, and also how to break bad habits, a self-assessment process to reveal beliefs that limit you, how to create a growth environment, and so much more. So what this program does for you is streamline all of the time and all of the money you might spend figuring this process out for yourself. the books, the courses, the strategists, all of that built into a practical program for you. This program is valued at $397, but I'm inviting you to join for only $97. And if you're still here, I know that you're the type of person who takes action, who is looking for learning opportunities and is ready to discover what drives you. Build out a fulfilling life so that you can stop feeling stagnant and stop putting yourself on the back burner. Imagine if you could finally prioritize becoming the best version of you, figuring out your purpose, and then living a life where you explore your potential. This program provides a practical framework for you to do that. You just got to get started. So you're going to want to click the link that I'm about to launch. Click that link in the bottom right corner so that you can get started and get access to the program at this price. Remember, you saw me at the beginning with the Sunday scaries, and now I love Mondays. I wish that I'd gone through this process years ago, right? But guess what? It's never too late. So no matter where you are on your journey, I'm so excited for what's to come in your future. And I wanted to share 2 incredible testimonials that I got from 2 amazing participants. The first one, I would definitely recommend and retake this course if I could. From the beginning, I knew it was going to be fun, interactive, and at times intense, covering all the topics provided. This course is worth it in all aspects, and thanks to my amazing facilitator for making the course something to look forward to. Great job, Driven By. And the class was great, very informative and interesting. Dee is a great speaker and is extremely knowledgeable. Loved it. Remember that I'm here to help you, and I know that there's a better future in store for you. So I'd love to have you inside the What Are You Driven By program. Plus, I'll be there to support you. If you need anything or have any questions throughout the program, you can easily get a hold of me. So we've come to the end of this short masterclass, and I hope that you choose to invest in your future and all the possibilities that can open up when you learn and grow. So thank you so much for attending this masterclass. And remember, if you took notes, post them on your social media. I want to see what you learned. But more importantly, make sure that you implement these lessons into your life. Make those changes. And I can't wait to see you level up. And I can't wait to see you inside the What Are You Driven By program.